Yo, what's good? This your boy Derek Brent here, StrikeSellSports.com. This is another episode of Strike Sell Sports Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Brian Botter, Leo and Seabury. This is episode of Strike Sell Sports Podcast. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. Talk about these last 48 hours in the world of sports. Pretty much, well, starting from the weekend on Sunday, there was a incident that went down during the day of the All Star game. Well, it involved college basketball with Michigan Wolverines head coach Juwan Howard and Wisconsin head coach Greg Gard. Um, it was pretty much a scuffle that went down. Juwan Howard didn't throw a left hook, didn't throw a right hand. He pretty much just kind of like scolded the guy. He was the Wisconsin assistant head coach Joe Krabbenhoff. There was big old engagement online, big you know arguments online about who was wrong, who was right. Was Coach Gard was out of bounds for what he did? But I'm just going to go ahead and read the whole transaction of what went down from this story down on ESPN. Michigan's men's basketball coach Juwan Howard has been suspended 5 games the remainder of the regular season and fined 40 grand for hitting Wisconsin assistant coach Joe Krabbenhoff in the face after Sunday's game. The Big Ten Conference announced on Monday. Wisconsin coach Greg Gard was fined 10 grand for violating the conference sportsmanship policy, but not suspended, while Krabbenhoff is not expected to receive punishment. Michigan forwards Terrence Williams and Moisa Diabate and Wisconsin guard Jacoby Ned were suspended 1 game. All 3 appeared to throw punches. The disciplinary actions were imposed by the Big Ten in conjunction with both schools. Quote, Big Ten Conference coaches and student athletes are expected to discipline to the highest level of sportsmanship conduct, Conference Commissioner Kevin Warren said in a statement. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down to where what provoked Juwan Howard to act in the manner that he acted. In the final minute of Wisconsin's 77-63 home win on Sunday, Gard substituted his walk-ons into the game. Michigan, which still had its regulars on the floor, was pressing full court, leading Gard to call a timeout, settle his team, and give it a chance to cross half court without turning the ball over. Following the buzzer, Gard grabbed Howard's arm as he walked past him in an attempt to stop and talk to him. The 2 men exchanged words with Howard putting his finger in Gard's face, grabbing Gard's shirt before being surrounded by several players and coaches. Krabbenhoff then came over in the middle of the scrum and exchanged words with Howard. And Howard and Howard then reached out and struck Krabbenhoff's face. Nah, he didn't struck it, but whatever. All right, man. Some of this ended right there. I just want to ask y'all, Juwan Howard's punishment of he got fined 40 grand and suspended for 5 games the regular season. Do y'all think the punishment was fair or foul?
Go ahead, Brian, because I have a lot to say.
Go ahead, man.
I'm sorry.
Go.
Yeah, I have to lower my battery. So this was just wild. I'm just gonna say, Juwan Howard. He's had some bad moments where he's just lost his cool. Greg Gard shouldn't have put his hand on him. I think he could have explained it without putting his hand on him, and then that maybe this doesn't happen. But I'm glad Juwan Howard wasn't fired. I didn't think he needed to be fired. But I feel like the suspension, in my opinion, should have been at least through the Big Ten tournament, conference tournament, and maybe even through the rest of the season. Because I think you need to send a stronger message. Maybe Gard should have gotten the game suspension, but the fine is all right. But yeah, Juwan Howard, this isn't a great look. Someone made a good point. When you think of Juwan Howard, you're gonna think of this. Until he wins, or when you think of Juwan Howard, you're gonna think of this moment, fair or not fair. I think that was a really good point that person said, and so to overcome this. But the one good thing about that suspension not going through the Big Ten Conference tournament is we could potentially see Michigan and Wisconsin again. And I would love to see that, not just because of what happened after the game, but what happened on the court. Wisconsin whooped Michigan's behind, and Michigan definitely want payback. So I'm glad we got that possibility. But in the end, Juwan Howard knows better, and he's going to have to just be smart. I think he should seek anger management, counsel. I know that's kind of tough, but he's had his moments. He's had his moments. It's not like this is just one isolated incident. This is a repeated. And so I think he needs to do that. But also, Greg Gard should not have called the timeout. And if he was going to call the timeout, he should have let Juwan out or sent someone to let him know why he was doing it. But yeah, that's the end. Leah, you can get.
Yeah.
No, I'm just bracing myself. I think the suspension for Juwan Howard by University of Michigan in the Big Ten was too much. People are saying he should get suspended the rest of the season or he should be fired. I don't think that's fair. I think we've seen coaches do way worse. Heck, y'all remember Bob Knight?
Yeah.
Remember he used to get away with havoc, throwing chairs at people, throwing temper tantrums, doing all types of things. And I feel like people they didn't make that much of it when he was doing it. But now you have Juwan Howard, who I admit he shouldn't have thrown the punch at the guy. That was out of bounds for him to do. But people see, I feel like the incident is how people how people view America, black people in America. It's a situation where I hate to bring race into it, but you can't help but do it in a situation. But think about this: in America, black people react to certain things, but when we react, it's viewed as we're the aggressors. When people aren't going to talk about enough about Greg Gard or grabbing him, they're not bringing that up enough. It's being brought up, but it's not being brought up enough, in my opinion, because that's important. I don't think Juwan goes at him the way he does if Juwan keeps it pushing. If Greg keeps it pushing, it's cool. Nobody goes to the line. Okay, he didn't say anything to you. Okay, so what? Boo-hoo. But the fact that Howard that guard was so adamant about explaining, bro, he didn't have nothing to say to me. He said I will remember that stuff. So it's nothing to explain, bro. You keep it pushing, bro. Get out my face. And I understand where Howard was coming from. And I don't think he should have. I think maybe a 2-game or 3-game suspension would have been enough. But with people of color, they have to make an example out of us. They feel like, in my opinion. I feel like if Gard had been the one who did, I feel like he wouldn't have got suspended that many games, or really much at all. Hey, he's the one who started Gard's the one who started the altercation. He got a fine. So that just says a lot. Let's just say a lot of it right there. The fact that the person that starts it only gets a slap on the wrist, a little fine.
Okay, that's it.
Wait, can I say one quick thing?
Go ahead, man.
Two things. All right. Doug Gottlieb, y'all heard of him. He thinks that what's his name?
Come on, bro.
If it had been a white coach, that person would have been fired. I disagree with that. I don't think that necessarily be the case. And another big major point, I hate when we love to just bring race into this. This has nothing to do with race. I saw a Clay Travis tweet that watched Juwan Howard accused him of saying
man, you don't even bring that name up, bro.
That's why he did it. I just hate race being involved if we don't have to bring it in. This has nothing to do with race. It's nice to play hypotheticals, but we just should focus on what happened, not if, ands, or buts. Maybe if you want, the only ones I could maybe think about if he had been fired, but he didn't get fired. But I understand why some people were comparing it to some of these other guys. But I really don't think race has to be brought up in everything. That's just my opinion.
How can you not bring race into it when the man who started the altercation gets a slap on the wrist? What are you talking about? This is not. If this were 2 black head coaches, both of them probably would have got suspended. Let's just keep this. You want to keep it real, honest, and be real about the situation. 2 black head coaches doing this mess would have got suspended. Both. You have one. Why is it that the person that starts it, Brian, gets less than the person who reacts? You can't. What?
I don't think Greg Gard did. Look, if I I'm trying to explain something to someone, I don't need to grab them. I can just hey, could I please get your attention? Then let me explain it to you. So that was the mistake he made. But the thing is, in my opinion, I don't think he needed to explain it. If he wanted to, if Juwan Howard asked him, then you need to explain it. But if he didn't ask him, Juwan Howard just wanted to go, shake his hand, and move on. So that's what I would personally identify with Greg Gard. Now, if he had asked me, then I would have given him an explanation. But that's just the way I look at it. And but like someone also made this point, I think it's fair. If you want to press while you're up, all those, or not up, if you want to press while you're down, then don't be surprised if Greg Gard is still coaching. So if he's not pressing, this is a non-story and we're not talking about it. So that's just my opinion.
You got anything else to add, Leo?
I don't agree with anything Brian said. Like personally, I just feel like people like first of all, like you say race has nothing to do with this, bro, but the facts are the facts. A black, how many times do we see it as a society? A black man reacting to a white man's actions and being the one that gets all the blame. How many times do we see that in society? Like how can you not? This is not solely based on race, because obviously this is athletics in this situation. Like we're not talking about like a social justice thing or something like that, obviously. But you have to put like, for you to say that race had nothing to do with it is, I feel like, I'm not trying to call you a name or anything, but I feel like that's an ignorant take in my opinion, because you're ignoring the facts. The facts are the facts. Why you saying that race had nothing to do with it? This is race can't. You trying to avoid race being involved is avoiding the fact of the situation. And I feel that personally you are doing it. And I feel like I just don't like the fact that you're doing that. And it's your opinion. You have the right to have one, and I have the right to have one. But I just don't understand how you can avoid race not being in this conversation.
All right, no one's talking about this, but Jeff Goodman was like, it'd have been one of the old, I think the previous Big Ten commissioner, Jim Delaney, he was white, but he just said he was really, really strict. Juwan Howard would have been suspended the rest of the year. Now, the two black people ahead of him, Ward Manuel, the AD at Michigan, and the commissioner, Kevin Warren, I think that played a little bit of a role in him getting a slap of the wrist, in my opinion, of a suspension. Do you think that's fair or not?
I don't even think he should have been suspended the rest of the season, though. I would have said 3 games.
But please answer my question.
No, that's not even, and that still was too much. Because I said the 5 games, the rest of the season was too much. If you can't, what part of, I feel like they was wrong for not giving, if you were to go give Juwan the rest of the season, you should have gave Gard 2 games. Gard should have got a suspension too then. That's my opinion. If you give Juwan 5, you give Gard at least 1 or 2, at least 1 game, or at least 2. If you're going to start or something, that would have been like, okay, you remember DB, you're old enough to remember it, Malice in the Palace.
Yeah.
That would have been like suspending J.R. Smith. Well, J.R. Smith, the people that were one players on one team, Carmelo, J.R. and all them getting suspended, but you're not going to suspend the Marty Collins, Nate Robinson. It's like them not getting suspended. Why are you going to suspend 2 people that both one party if you're not going to suspend both parties? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying Gard should be out for the rest of the season, because he shouldn't be. He shouldn't have. But I just feel like both of them should have received suspensions, not just one team. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. You got anything else?
Nah, I'm fine. I've been talking
All
too
right.
much. I want to hear from you.
All right, man. Look, I'll say this, man. Sean Payton was accused of allegedly running a bounty program. He kept his job, but they wanted to fire him. According to him, they wanted to get rid of him. But he got his job. He kept his job. Whatever. Bill Belichick was accused of recording practices, other teams' practices. He kept his job. Mark Few, Gonzaga head coach, he got a DUI. That's a serious offense. He kept his job. Urban Meyer, Urban Meyer did get fired eventually, but it took him a while. It took Shahid Khan a while to do it. Look at all the stuff he was doing. I think the punishment was fair. Um, I don't think he should have been fired. Though. I don't understand how this leads to a fire. This type of behavior will lead to a fire. After all that, everything that Howard has accomplished at Michigan in a short time, that would be a knee-jerk reaction if they fired him. But I think the fine was fair. The suspicion is fair. But for Greg Gard, he should be suspended as well and fined more than 10 grand. I felt like that was out of bounds what he did. If he's pressing, I mean, why not? You had what it was 15 seconds left in the game. Game was almost over, right? Game was almost over. Why not just deal with the press? You can't deal with the press. You got to call a timeout. You know, just deal with it. You up by what? 15 points, right? Let's deal with it and run the clock out. Oh well. But Gard did provoke Howard. He did. I looked at the film multiple times. He provoked Howard. He started first. All you had to do was take the high road, both of them. Be honest. Shake hands, move on. You know, he on the Michigan is the one on the bubble. Not Wisconsin. They're gonna get in the tournament probably, most likely. Michigan, the team is on a bubble. Shake hands, move on. You had to explain. But nah, man, he had to grab the guy's hand, grab his hand, and Howard already pissed. You know, he was having a bad day. It happens. You know. But and what about the assistant, man? Abramovich, what's his name? Krabenhoff. He should have got suspension. He didn't get no punishment. He didn't want to provoke Howard to do what he did. He didn't get no suspension. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know if he said anything. That's
He
what a lot of
did.
people are just
That's
asking.
what he did say something. That's why Howard reached out and grabbed him. He
But
said
also,
something.
I think I think he had his hands on one of the Michigan players, so that was part of the problem. That's why a lot of people wanted him to receive a suspension or fine. It's fine, but I don't think it's
It's a fair punishment. I think it's a fair punishment. It's a fair punishment for Juwan Howard, but Krabenhoff should got punishment and Gard instead of a $10 fine. That's what I think should happen. But Howard does not deserve to lose his job for this, man. This is just overboard.
Yeah.
This is like way overboard, man. Because I just mentioned people that done worse than Howard, man. Coach is doing a 4 lot worse than this dude than what Howard did. So no, that's overboard, man. Y'all got anything else to add? No. All right.
Well, I see small argument on this conversation. So
What's up?
I can't argue till I'm blue in the face that this guy back to this guy because Juwan. From what people say, Juwan's a good guy, a really good guy. So it's not like this is his actions were all based off of instincts and seeing what was happening around him.
Right.
I don't feel like he instigated anything, and for him to have not instigated anything and still get what he got, that's what hurts me the most. And like I feel like a lot of black people, like I'm not saying call nobody Uncle Tom's or nothing like that, but it was too many brothers on Twitter talking about how he should have got spent the rest of the season, and he should including the Big Ten tournament and all that. It was too many brothers. We not saying like I said, not trying to make the all of our race, but black people. We often are the ones that provoke. So we should have. I'm not saying some people maybe are not in this situation, but a lot of times I've been in a situation where I've been provoked by the opposite races and things like that. So I feel like people like that should have empathized with him, not trying to say, "Oh well, he did this, he did." Look at why he did what he did. Don't just look at his actions. Look at why he reacted the way he did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Gard provoked him, man. Man, he just took the high road, man. Just shake hands. Well, shake hands. Keep it moving. That's it. You know. it's hypocritical, man, to me. But it is what it is now, man. Michigan on a bumble. They got them. I think they won the last four in. Nah, they lost more games than Memphis, but we'll see. All right, moving right along, man. Go to the talk about the NBA and a particular team that I noticed. I've been noticing over the last few weeks, and I mentioned something to y'all in the chat a few weeks ago. Well, a week ago about LeBron James possibly wanting to come back to Cleveland, and this roster is nice, man. One thing I will give the Cavaliers, man, some credit on is that the times that LeBron has left, they've built some pretty good, I would say, rosters. If they got the ability to find really good players. The first time he left, they're able to get Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins. But Wiggins left because they wanted to get Kevin Love. Now they LeBron left the second time, and he got a really good roster right now. I got it pulled up on my screen. They got Colin Sexton, who's out for the year. People, a lot of people forget about that. Sexton's out. You got Darius Garland. You got Josh Allen. Kevin Love still hanging around. He's still there. You got the veteran Rajon Rondo. But anyways, they're fourth place in the West. And on during All Star Weekend, it was brought up to LeBron James mentions that the door's not closed on him leaving coming back to Cleveland. And I just want to ask y'all, man, if you the Cavaliers, if you Cleveland, well, I don't want to say if it was Cleveland, but do y'all think it'd be beneficial if for the Cavaliers to bring back LeBron for the third time?
That's a tough one. I feel like it can be a blessing but a curse at the same time. Like they're building something really special with this young group, and Dan Gilbert may ultimately want to win one without LeBron, see if he can do that without LeBron. But at the same time, LeBron is one of the best players ever. Just when you get him, he's going to be probably a really good role player. That's what people are going to have to just realize. So, and you may get his son, like, what people aren't talking about, his son is good, but he ain't, he's a good, solid player, but he doesn't have that. In fact, he's not like a superstar. At least people don't think he'll be. So it'll be interesting to see wherever he goes, and LeBron will probably go there. How much LeBron plays and how much his son plays, and how much can that be a factor? And so Cleveland can potentially be the right situation because it's home, but if you get the wrong situation, it can be a problem. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. But I think the Cavs, if they can get LeBron, they'll like it, but if they don't, it's not that hard.
Right, I agree. If I'm my bad. If I'm Cleveland, I don't know if I do this, man. I don't know because the Lakers are gonna want some of those pieces, man. They're gonna ask for, let's see, LeBron, a small forward. Excuse me. They're gonna ask for at least Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. Either one of those three players, they're gonna ask for in return for LeBron James. I don't know if I do it. I think you got Colin Sexton. You know what I'm saying? You still got Colin Sexton. He comes back next year. I think it's a pretty good team, man. They really they like kind of remind me of Memphis a little bit. Playing really good in the East right now, in full place. Setting themselves up for a playoff berth. They were the third seed in the West, but they've dropped down to the fourth spot. But it is what it is. But I don't know if I would do this if I'm Cleveland. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I know LeBron, he brings a lot to the table and all that, but then in the same token, man, it kind of changes the dynamic of your roster. You know what I'm saying? Your team, things just get thrown sideways when you regards to building the roster. Kind of, mortgage your future just to win a championship. So that'll be up to Dan Gilbert to make the decision for Dan Gilbert to make. LeBron comes back for the third time. But I told y'all, man, I was like, he's looking at that roster, man. I know he's looking at his roster, he's looking at the situation in LA, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I should try to come back home. And All-Star Weekend, there it goes. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to do this if I'm Cleveland. I think after next year, maybe 38, 39. I don't know if I would do it. You could get another asset besides LeBron to join you instead of what I'm saying, instead of mortgaging the future for him. But I wouldn't do it. Anything else to add?
Pretty much had everything I had to say, and I agree with a lot of your points. Maybe just one quick note on Colin Sexton. I don't think he'll be on the Cavs next year. I think they'll probably sign and trade him because I feel like they're going to move forward with Darius Garland. They kind of need to get more size on the wing. They got Karis LeVert. They like him, so I don't think Colin Sexton is part of them.
Where do you think Kevin Love goes?
I think he stays one more year, and then I think he ends up on. He's gonna be like one of those rings. I know he's won one already, but he'll end up on a team that feels like he'll win a championship.
Like Brooklyn or something. Yeah, but we'll see, man. And also, do you believe the talk about LeBron possibly leaving if the extension isn't signed after the summer?
Yeah, I saw that. I've gotten to a point. LeBron brought us a title as a Lakers fan, so whatever he does next, I'm fine with it. I just hope if he wants to leave and he feels like we can trade him and he knows to go, I'm fine with that. I want probably be best to just stay next year and then do everything and try to compete for it. Then after that, leave like that. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah, and to me, man, it look like I don't know if it's just me, but it look like LeBron just like LeBron just like he's just checked out, man. You know what I'm saying? He's just enjoying himself, living his best life. Just it is what it is. Accept it. I don't know, man, but we'll see. Leo, since you're back, I don't know if you heard our last convo. We was talking about the Cavaliers and the rise in the East, and I posed the question of would it be beneficial for the Cavaliers to bring back LeBron for the third time?
No. Why now? Don't want us because we're back. Don't want us now that you said F us 2 times already. We're not taking you back a third time. We're better now without you. If you want to be honest. And I'm not saying that they would, of course, who wouldn't want LeBron James on their team by name, but they have a very terrific core right now with the Mobley. They got a young core. They got Mobley. You got Okoro. You got Eric Garland. You got a great team already, bro. They don't need a LeBron James. This is the best team LeBron James, Cavs team LeBron would be coming back to.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because even when they came back the second time, when they had Kyrie, Tristan Thompson, they had made the trade for K Love, and they got J.R. Smith and all them. But I still feel like this would, because this is a very young, solid core. The best player is only 22. Keep that in mind. And Jared Allen too at 23 is the oldest of them. So it would be a great, solid young core. Not just for LeBron though. Obviously, if LeBron James Jr. went there, then he would be there too. He would be another young piece if you think about that. So there'll be a multitude of young pieces. And why the team, the fit, LeBron might see the fit. For him, I would see the fit if I were a Cavs like man. I wouldn't want him back. No disrespect.
You don't want him back?
No, because he wouldn't like he's not feeling. We don't need him.
Right.
They needed him the first 2 times. Now they got to the point too. They're winning. DB, they're winning finally without him.
Yeah, I see
And I
that,
feel
man.
like, yeah,
That's crazy. But a lot of talent has passed through that, man. With Kyrie, Love, Wiggins, Sexton, Garland. Not bad. I'm impressed, man. 'Cause I didn't think they would come up like this, man. I didn't.
yeah.
But in the East, man, I mean, they can really shoot up the chart with dealing with Milwaukee. But we don't know. I don't know if they're ready for that yet. But I also want to ask you: do you buy that report about LeBron being good as gone if he don't sign an extension this summer?
If he doesn't sign it, I don't buy it because I feel like LeBron not playing to win titles no more. Like, I mean, I don't think he minds winning another title. But
Yeah, but
LeBron got to the point to where I've done everything that y'all asked me to do. Like, what else do I need to prove? Like, he don't got nothing to prove. Like, and I honestly agree with him. I mean, his play hasn't dropped on the court. He's still averaging almost 30 points a game. I don't understand why people are saying he's not the same player no more. When in fact he's probably playing. He hadn't averaged 30 since '07. Keep that in mind. And 15 years later, he's threatening to average 30. So I don't know how his play dropped off, but you know how some people are DB. People come up with anything to try to knock a guy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I feel like LeBron, if he wants to stay in LA, cool. I feel like he's okay with not necessarily not winning, but he's okay with if 2020 was his last title. I feel like he's okay with it.
right.
One quick thought I'll add. If he's going to stay in LA and he don't want to compete for titles, he might as well get the Clippers. That Laker Nation ain't going to be putting up for that. I already see some Laker fans on Twitter that if they don't feel like this team compete for titles anymore, they might as well just blow it up. That's going to be something I'll be interested in. But you can't just stay with the Lakers and just be part and not be all in on winning title. Now, I know not all. I think he's probably going to be gone, and Lakers fans will be thankful he brought them a title, he made them relevant. But let's move
It
towards
was one though.
So what?
It was just one title, man. Laker fans want multiple championships,
Title,
man.
but
It don't work like that.
When it came, the Warriors were still together. It wasn't even guaranteed to win a title, and everyone was saying like if he didn't win one, to be clear. But the fact that he won one, that's obviously if he could win more than one, that'd be great. But he won one, and in my opinion, his tenure has been a success.
I don't know about all that. One title, man, as a Laker.
We hadn't made the playoffs in 6 years before he had gotten there. Let's keep that in mind.
That's true.
We hadn't even. So the first time we touched the playoffs with this man, we were champs. Let's keep that in mind. The
Yeah,
first
exactly.
time. That's what I'm saying. We hadn't made the playoffs in. Let me correct that. We had not made the playoffs in 2013 with the late great Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard and Steve Nash and the crew. So there was a long 7 years that we went. Keep in mind, his first year we didn't make the playoffs, but LeBron was hurt for a good portion of that season. We missed 26 games. I feel like that Lakers team is a playoff team with a healthy LeBron. The second year, first time we touched the postseason, DB, you win a title. So that made the LeBron worth it, the move worth it, and it also made the AD trade worth it. Regardless of what Ingram and them other guys become, I feel like the Lakers got the best out of the trade because you got a championship out of it. If you get a championship out of it, you get what you want to trade.
That's fair. But I don't think he goes back to Cleveland, bro. I mean, I think he'll go somewhere else, man, but not Cleveland, bro. I don't think they're gonna take him back, man. They'd be foolish to do that, but we'll see. I don't think he goes back to Cleveland.
What's some destinations in mind for you, though?
Man. You know what? Crazy as this sounds, him and KD need to team up. Him and KD need to team up before they retire. For real. For real. New York?
The Knicks?
With Zion. Watch it, man. Watch the breadcrumbs, bro. That's if if what his name is? Not Dan Gilbert. Who owns the Knicks? The guy was
James Dolan.
If Dolan give up his control, he might have some.
Yeah.
If Dolan give up his control, he could go there. I think he'll go there. That's if Zion goes too, though.
Yeah.
But I think that's his last shot, though. Like, I don't see it. Man, I know Milwaukee is out of the picture. Phoenix, Clippers, nah. I don't see too many options, man. Miami, I don't know. So I don't see too many options for LeBron. That Cleveland thing, that's out of the picture to me, man. But we'll see. All right, moving right along. Now, this is the big topic right here, man. The Zion Williams drama that came down over the weekend because of a quote, a remark that was said by newly acquired C.J. McCullough, who was acquired from the Portland Trail Blazers in return for Nicole Alexander-Walker and Josh Hart. So it was at All-Star Weekend at Cleveland, and C.J. McCullough was talking with the NBA and TNT crew. And I just got the audio pulled up of what McCullough said. I'm just go ahead and play it real quick.
Just changing gears a little bit. Again, you got Brandon Ingram, you have yourself, Zion. Have you had a chance to talk to Zion about anything? Have you? I heard he was working out or somewhere else in another city. That's obviously the missing piece of what you guys are going to do.
He's a big part of our future. Obviously, we're looking forward to getting him back. I haven't had conversations with him directly. I've spoken to some people close to him and look forward to sitting down with him sooner than later. But I don't really. I know about as much as you do right now, but I'm going to get to the bottom.
No. Listen, well, Zion, this is a dude who could get 25 a night easily. You better call him. You shouldn't have to call him. I got your.
All right, so that's that part of it. That pretty much set off alarms in Pelicans land, Pelicans Twitter, Pelicans media about the situation in New Orleans. Everything is starting to unfold. Yesterday, they bought out they sent out the email, the season tickets for all the season ticket holders. Zion's name was not on the list, not on that promo. People made a big deal of that. And so this morning, I got the audio pulled up from what J.J. Redick said on the situation as well. Just give me a second to play real quick.
Says he still hasn't spoken to Zion since being traded to New Orleans. I haven't had conversations with him directly. I've spoken with some people close to him and look forward to sitting down with him sooner than later. I know about as much as you do right now, but I'm getting to the bottom of it. JJ, is this something or nothing?
Oh, this is definitely something. Actually, this is a little bit insane to me. There's a general sort of decorum of behavior that you should apply as a teammate. Look, I wasn't the best player on any team I was on, but if there was a buyout possibility, if there was a trade possibility, I would always reach out to team. I called Ersan Ilyasova, I called Marco, I called Wes Matthews trying to get him to come to Philly. Like, this just shows a complete lack of investment in your team, in the organization, in the city. I get that he's hurt and away from the team, but you just traded for one of the 50 best players in the league, a guy that's supposed to be paired with you. Reach out and say hello. This is a pattern of behavior with Zion that we are seeing again and again. And look, I was his teammate. I can describe him as a detached teammate. That is an accurate statement. This is basic level of humanity being a teammate. send a text to a guy when he gets traded to your team. That is just normal behavior. That's the bar minimum that you have to do. And the Pelicans yesterday sent out an email for season tickets for next year. Guess who wasn't in the email? Whose name was not in the email? Zion's. Like, what the heck is going on in New Orleans, Stephen A?
They don't have you. They don't have somebody like you. That's number one, to answer your question directly. And just in the interest of full disclosure, while Molly is sitting here on the air and we're on national television, I've always had a lot of love and respect for J.J. Redick. The reason I say that up is because I remember one time he was with the Philadelphia 76ers and it was all playful or whatever, but he disagreed with a take. Little did I know that we'd be on the air together disagreeing on takes in the future. But J.J. Redick disagreed with a take that I had, Molly, and I don't remember what exactly it was about, but he jumped on me, and then Ben Simmons and others came along and they jumped on me. But they had something to say and they came up to me and they said it. You see what I'm saying? And then I had to go on the air the next day and be like, they had a point. You know, it makes sense. And it's just about the level of professionalism and decorum and just being men that you're speaking to that I've always respected, because I'm the type of person that if I say something publicly, that's about professional decorum. And I think to some degree that's what you're talking about here, but you also are talking about an extra level of something, which is decency. You're absolutely right, J.J. Redick.
All right, man. All right. Whatever. So, with all that being said, man, well, according to Malika Andrews today, Zion reached out because, we backtrack. Zion, she stated that C.J. McCullough said that Zion has reached out to him since that remark was made, combined with the season ticket, the whole email. I got the email as well. The email with the season ticket holders, and this is what J.J. Redick said. I just want to ask y'all, based on all the stuff that's been going on these last couple of weeks with Zion, with his injuries, stuff dating back to the bubble, last season dealing with Stan Van Gundy, do you think Zion is on his way out of New Orleans after the season? That's even with his decreased value right now.
If I were New Orleans, I would say I would do my darndest to keep him. Keep in mind, New Orleans has his rights. He can't. What he gonna do? Sit out 2 years, wait till free agency? That's not an option. So the question is, what can I get for New Orleans? What can I get back for him? Only 85 games as a pro. Zion Williamson has shown that he can be a superstar talent when he's playing and when he's healthy. Zion Williamson, keep in mind, y'all, was an all-star starter. Keep that in mind. Zion Williamson started in the all-star game. I just want y'all people act like this guy's a scrub. This guy's no scrub. That's why he can do this. He can sit there. I feel like Stephen A. Smith made a good point today. He also went on to say, I think if Jay, he was with Kendrick, I think it was with Kendrick Perkins, not Kendrick Perkins, it was with someone else, but Stephen A. Smith said that if he wanted to be on the Pelicans, Zion Williamson would be playing right now. He said not that he's trying to fake his injury or nothing, but I do agree with that. If he wanted to be on the Pelicans, he would be playing. I feel like he don't want to be on the Pelicans. He already said on draft night he wanted to be drafted by the Knicks. He said that that's public knowledge. He wanted to be a New York Knick. He never said publicly that he wants out of New Orleans, but his body language says sometimes actions speak louder than words, and you obviously can see that he's not playing. And while he may be actually hurt for real, I think he is really hurt, but you can see that there's a lot of issues there in the organization. I don't feel like the organization is built to handle him. Like a lot of strong organizations, like this one, like the Miami Heat, with like a team with like a more structure, I feel like they could be built to handle this, and like maybe get him back into playing shape and get him back into the fold. But like, no disrespect to your team, DB, but your team structurally is just not built, organizationally is not built to handle this. And I think a lot of Pelicans fans are now acknowledging the fact that now a trade is likely on the horizon, unless they were able to get some sort of miracle to where you all can get back on one accord with Williamson, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. There's so many different angles to look at the situation. When Zion was drafted, a lot of people felt like he never even wanted to be in New Orleans for the very get-go. But I don't want to say went through the motions, but he maybe didn't shout as much until maybe right now. It'll be interesting in the offseason. Do the Pelicans give him an extension? And if they don't, what do they explain why? Because look, if I was the Pelicans, I'd probably an extension until I ultimately have to. He just hasn't. He's a good player, but he just hasn't been healthy. So I think it would be bad investment, in my opinion, right now. And if Zion doesn't get that money, will he throw a tantrum and one out? Because I don't know. One thing I do know is Falcons have been kind of dysfunctional, and they've had 3 coaches, 3 years. Willie Green has done a good job so for the foreseeable future, or as long as David. But I don't know if Zion fits Brandon Ingram. I've always felt like that was a bad fit to with, and so traded him. What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So the question, what can you get for it? But it'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm tired of weeks, and then we'll know more. But as long as he wants to be there, they'll keep him there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting traded. I could see that happening. And the destination, it makes too much. He wants to be there. They want him there. Big bodies up there. I don't know how long can reports that he may be traded, but RJ Barrett will be for as long as he wants. So that'll be interesting for the Knicks, and I think but I still have but kind of reminds me of the Nola situation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you going in and out though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Joel Embiid situation.
Joel Embiid wanted to be there though, man.
So what?
Well, Embiid wanted to be in Philly though.
No. I'm talking about from the injury standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they committed to him, and then the rest is history. But I don't know. We'll see what Zion, how this thing ends. But the way it's looking, I'd be stunned if he's a Pelican in 2 or 3 years.
All right. You got anything else?
Do you think that Zion will play with the Pelicans his whole career?
No, man. I saw that. I've been saying that since he got drafted, man. He just. I don't think he would stay here long term, man. It's never, outside of Giannis, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Giannis is a foreign player. Giannis, Dirk, those guys from overseas, Jokic, they're more liable to stay in these small markets for the rest of their careers. But these American-born players, they won't do it. A lot of them won't do it. Especially the ones that we have now. But listen, man, I just think people need to act like grown-ups, man, and talk it over, man. Talk it over with Zion. Have a conversation with the owner, Griffin, the head coach, in the meeting, man. Just air it out, man. Do you want to be here or not? Air it out, bro. Don't like. That is alarming to me that this guy, doesn't talk to the team, man. Is away from the team. Is detached. I think he just should, in his best interest, I think it would be better if he come back next season, build his value up, and then move on. But if the Pelicans feel like it's best that they part ways now, then so be it. I just think they need to get the best value for him, the best in return for him. But I think they got a good nucleus right now. They finally have a good head coach. They got a coach that has built a culture there. The team started off 1-12. At the beginning of the season, people thought it was lottery. They're about to be done a lottery, high lottery pick, but they've turned it around, and now they're on the verge of being a play-in team. but they have a good nucleus right now. But and also, I think they just can't keep doing this though. They can't keep halfway building teams. They've let you can't be a farm system for other teams. They've had Baron Davis, they've had Max Barn, they've had Anthony Davis. You've had now you have Zion. You just can't keep doing this, man. For you've been in the Pelicans have been in this phase for like 10 plus years, 10 to 15 years, whereas they build it and then it just come crashing back down. They can't keep doing this, you know. But I think he will be traded eventually, man. Eventually, I just think he only did this because the pressure on the outside is a PR thing. You know what I'm saying? In media, Stephen A. saying this, JJ Redick saying this, the fans saying this. Now he not involved in the the season ticket holder message. That's the only way he's saying it. It's a PR plot. I just think, and also, man, I just think he's kind of a bit entitled to me, man. It's just a bit, entitled, an entitled AAU player, facing adversity for the first time, and he's doing a bad job of dealing with it. But if they can convince this guy to stay, then it'd be great. Stay for another, sign his first max deal. That'd be great. But it ain't looking good right now. But I hope he would act like a grown adult and be direct with the ownership, David Griffin, and the head coach, and say what you want instead of going behind your family. Say what you want to say. You got anything else to add?
Yeah, I was just you mentioned it, how he wasn't in the season ticket holder thing. I wonder if that's going to be interesting to see if David Griffin or the coaches asked about that. But I thought that was an interesting sign. But he did reach out to C.J. McCollum. Malika Andrews said that she talked to Zion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So at least he did that. I personally didn't think that was that big of a deal, in my opinion. But
you think it's a bigger deal, man? If somebody got traded to your team and you're a star, you don't think it's a bigger deal not speak to him?
I don't really think, Brandon, that's the thing. I really don't think Zion is the star of that team. I think it's Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, for right now, yeah.
He's everyone hypes Zion up, but I just think Brandon Ingram is so underappreciated in that city. And so that's why I feel like if you lose Zion, it's not the end of the world, because Brandon Ingram's the face of that franchise. But not the face of the franchise, but in my opinion, he's a franchise player. If they're going to ever win a title, he'll be the main reason why. So I think he could have maybe done it, and then it wouldn't have been a big story. And he eventually did it. But I don't think it was the worst thing, in my opinion. But we'll see this offseason. This offseason will tell us everything. If the Pelicans offer him this long-term extension and he doesn't take it, then that'll tell us a lot. Or if the Pelicans don't offer him because they just want to see him play more, that will tell us a little bit more. But we won't really know until this offseason, in my opinion, which direction this is going into.
Yeah, that's true. You got anything else to add, Leo?
I think the team, the Pelicans, I think the reason why Zion's not around, because I see him thinking, while the team is good on the court, I think he sees the dysfunction it's in the front office, and I feel like he understands that he feels like he could be in a better situation. Not saying the Pelicans are a bad team, because they're playing good ball.
So it makes a bad situation right now?
No. I just feel like David Griffin. I feel like he has a problem with David Griffin.
Yeah. That's
possible. What I think it is. I think it's a problem with management. I don't think that it's the play production on the court, because the players are being productive. They even though your point guard is Devontae Graham hasn't forgotten how to play basketball, but besides that, besides his struggles, the team's been pretty good, and they're in playoff contention for a playoff in a play-in spot. So I feel like if Williamson comes back, if he were able to miraculously come back for these last maybe a little bit, y'all could make a run, like in terms of like getting into the playoffs. So it's not. I don't feel like his issue is with what's on the court, the product. I feel like it's in the people who put the product on the court. Here's that problem.
That could be I agree with you, man. Griff, man. I don't know why they were like when he first was drafted, they handled it like with kids' gloves. You know, there was a minutes restriction. He can play in certain spots in the game, all kind of stuff, man. Just I don't know, man. It's wild, man. But we'll see how everything plays out, man. The off season will tell us everything, like Brian said. So we'll see. All right, moving right along. Last NBA topic of the night: Phoenix Suns. Right now the Suns are the top team in the Western Conference right now. They won 7 straight. Their last 10 games, won 7 straight, 48-10. Gold State is like seven games back. They fell, but they're the second seed in the West right now. But over the All-Star weekend, we got some news that Chris Paul, their point guard, their leader, could miss 6 to 8 weeks with I'm not sure if I think it's a hand injury that he suffered at some point in the season. With thumb injury, thumb fracture, 6 to 8 weeks with a thumb fracture. He tried to play in the All-Star game, from what I heard. But I want to ask y'all, down the stretch for Phoenix, with Paul being out, do you think to keep the lead in the West, the top seed? Yeah.
Can you repeat it?
All right.
Yeah,
what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was eating. I'm sorry.
I said with Chris Paul being out for 6 to 8 weeks with the thumb injury, do you think Phoenix will remain the top seed in the West while he's out?
I'll take this one first. I think they can. 2 reasons. I like the Suns culture, and they picked up Aaron Holiday. He can help a little bit. Cameron Payne, who's from Memphis, I think he can really help. And most importantly, they have Devin Booker and DeAndre and Monty Williams. So as long as those 3 will be there, they'll be all right. And also the Warriors have one of the toughest schedules remaining. So I think that helps the Suns too. So I think the Suns will be all right.
It's all about culture. CP3 is a song teller. Keep in mind this team, what this team was before CP3. This team was a play-in team, a bubble-like team. You got there, you got to the finals. This guy's important. This guy, they need him. I feel that they will be suffering despite him. Chris Paul, keep in mind, y'all, off of last year, during late in the season, even though Devin Booker was their main scorer, look at who closed out games. Chris Paul. He was the closer last year in those late games last year in the playoffs and in the regular season. So I think they're going to miss that these next 6 to 8 weeks. If I'm not mistaken, 2 months will the playoffs be starting?
Yeah.
So he may be out for early. I'm assuming he'll probably try to get back within that 6 weeks to try to come back before the playoffs. But that's definitely the rest of the regular season.
Last game, April 10th.
So I'm pretty sure he's gonna try to bust his butt to get back before the playoffs. But you never know, and so it's gonna be a big loss. And Golden, like you said about Golden State does have one of the hardest schedules left, but it's Golden State you're talking about. You see, when you have a guy that can shoot 16 threes, even though it's All-Star game, but you got me 16 threes, man. You're never like it's harder for the other team that are playing against Golden State than it is for Golden State. Trust me, they'll be just fine, and they'll be ready. They'll be ready. Trust me.
Yeah, I agree with you somewhat. But while Paul is out, this would be a great opportunity for Devin Booker to step up and just put the team on his back while Paul is out. You never know what can happen if that had to occur. He could possibly put himself in the MVP conversation if it ain't too late. But they got a down the stretch. I'm looking at the schedule. These next few games, I would say the next 5 games are winnable. Only issue I may see after that is like they got New Milwaukee, and they got a matchup with Portland. I think they could beat Utah. But in that, I mean, he may be able to hold it down, man. Booker, man. It'd be great to see if he can do that. You know. But I don't think it'll get to the point. I don't think it's gonna get to the point to where they just slide and the Lakers get up there and take the spot. I don't think that's happening because I heard somebody, out there saying that, man, that they could slide, Phoenix could slide, and the Lakers could, gain some momentum and get that spot, get into that top spot. I don't think that's happening, man. That's a little hyperbole right there, but I think Phoenix will be fine, man, without him. Y'all got anything else to add to that, Brian?
Yeah, I agree. There's one team that could potentially catch them is the Grizzlies because their schedule is one of the easiest ones. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. Indeed, it will be. Memphis is looking really good right now, man. They're in a really good spot. Rebuild didn't took that long to get done. And maybe if Zion would act like Ja, then the Pelicans would be in a good position, just embrace it, you know what I'm saying? Embrace where you at and be willing to turn around like Ja did, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, man, that's all we have for y'all for right now, man. Give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you listen to this through YouTube, let us know how you feel about these topics. Punishment by Juwan House, punishment foul. Do you think LeBron will go back to Cleveland for the 3rd time? Also, check out strike7sports.com for his content on NFL, the NBA, and much more. Listen to this podcast through Spotify, Apple. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us some reviews, some good reviews. Hate, like, comment, subscribe. Have a good night, and we'll be back. Peace.